Hi, and welcome to the next session of this back to school boot camp for Banzai. For those of you that joined us for our first session, I hope that it was as impactful for you as it was for me. That was incredible. Big thank you to Natalie, who you'll see kind of throughout this event, who put all of this together. It's been a lot of work, but I am really excited to talk with all of you today, and I hope that I can shine some light onto things in bonsai that you may not know about, or things that you haven't used in a while, or answer any questions that you might have. So let's get into it. Really quickly, audio issues, just check your device settings. I am using my headphones for the first time because I like how they match my blazer. And if you are in that kind of situation, make sure they're plugged in. Any questions, put them in the question box or in the chat. We will make sure to answer them in real time, or someone, a moderator on the team, will flag me down to answer it live for everyone. And then don't forget to connect with us. So we are at Teach Bonsai on all the big social media platforms, and you can go to bonsai.org as well. Yeah, let's go for it. My name is Nicole. I'm the Director of Education at Banzai. My core job in one sentence is to make sure that Banzai is meeting teacher needs. And so if it isn't, or if it is, I would love to hear about it. And we are constantly making improvements and trying to do things to make sure that we are helping all of you in the classroom as much as we can. And so I want to go over some of the things that we've done this last year to improve the product, and then also some things that we just want you to know about. Let's go for it. So really quick, just to start out with a huge bang, we have released this new feature called assignments, which everyone knows what an assignment is, but Bonsai has not had these yet. So all of our Bonsai super users, I'm sure that you are used to this exact monologue, which is something like, okay, class, we're going to do Bonsai today. So I need you to log in and then navigate to middle school personal finance, and then click into life scenarios, and then do the pretest, which is great. We love that, and it works well. But we were hoping that we could create something that would be a little bit more independent for the student, so they can see exactly what you want them to be working on and not get distracted by our other games that are all, we think, very fun. But this, we know that every teacher uses the classroom or uses Bonsai in the classroom differently. And so sometimes it's not exactly what you want, and that's cool too. We have kept both methods of delivering Bonsai content in the classroom. So really quickly, I want to show you what this is. I'm going to show, so this is my Bonsai portal. This is my teacher portal. I'm logged in. And this is a class that uses assignments, but for now, let's make a new one. So let's say I'm starting a new school year. I'm making all of my classes. How will students use Bonsai in this class? Well, I only want them to complete assigned activities. So I'll click that and I'll name it, let's go with third period economics. Create the class. And then I can create a new assignment. And just a big flag as we get into this, this product is in beta. And so we need surveys and responses to folks that are using this more than ever. And that is very obvious right now in this demo because something went wrong and we have a teeny bug already. So that that's fine. It's obviously very small, but if you hit any issues while you're using this, please make sure to let us know. But anyway, you create a new assignment. And let's say I'm a high school teacher. So I'm going to go to the high school stuff and I'm going to do, you know what, I want them to start with stock market. So I'll add stock market. Yes, I want them to do the pre-test, the post-test, add that to the assignment. And then, you know what, I actually want them to start thinking about their soft skills too, and networking and things like that. But they don't need to do the pre-test and post-test. I'll just do the game. Okay, that's a good enough assignment for me. So I'm going to assign that to my class, third period economics. And you know what? I'm going to give it to first period class as well. Assigned to those classes, and the assignment is in. So then on the teacher or on the student side, and let me just show you this from my existing one. We'll go to Angela. This is all she sees. So instead of all of the Banzai content, all Angela is seeing are the activities that I assigned. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go back. But yeah, that's basically the new feature in a nutshell. And coming soon with assignments as well is we are going to add due dates. We are going to add assignable articles and other resources like worksheets and workbooks. So they could do, the pre-test and then go through a worksheet and then play the game and then do a post-test, that kind of a thing. And it will show up in the order that you assign it. Okay, so that's my big announcement. I'm gonna check the chat really quickly because just want to see if anyone has any questions or thoughts on that. Again, like I said, this is in beta. Didn't look like my assigned assignments were there. Okay, and this one. Oh, you're right. It looks like internet safety. Well, that's interesting. Sorry, now I'm on a bug hunt. What's going on? But because I also moved into first period. Sorry. I think it switched me from third period to first period. So I'm actually going to make a note of that because we assigned to 2 classes at once. But that is interesting. And thank you so much for pointing that out. This is live now. So this is completely live. But like I said, it is in beta. So if we rolled it out to all teachers. Right now, if you log in with Clever or ClassLink, you should be able to access it. But if you roster with either of those, if you use Run One Roster or Clever for rostering, we don't have that built out yet. So that's coming soon. And then that's when we'll be able to release it to everyone. But again, if you see any, does it work with Google Classroom? It works with Google SSO. Banzai isn't fully integrated with the Google Classroom LMS, but you can sign in with your Google and use it just fine. Yeah, like I said, let me know if you can email me at Nicole@Banzai or support@Banzai if you run into any issues. And we're also sending out surveys to get feedback soon. So this is exciting. We're really hoping it'll help you manage the flow of the content that you're putting into the classroom. It's also going to support us building more and more stuff. Right now, the Banzai library, the Banzai library doesn't support like the rapidness of which we're creating content. So yes, so just to answer questions, and I can actually email some of you after as well, but we do have DPAs with any district that needs them or requests them. So I'll contact your district and see what's going on with that, why you can't sign in via Google. And then, yes, you can sign in with ClassLink. So ClassLink SSO, you can use this feature. If you use one roster through ClassLink, it's not built out for that yet. So if you use rostering services, that's coming really, really soon. We're hoping within just a month or two, but the SSO, it works fine. Okay, so let me just minimize this chat and move on into our new games and modules. We have released 4 new games in this past year: Stock Market Showdown, Finance Summer Camp, our QuickBooks simulations, which we partnered with Intuit for Education for, and then How Much Can My Business Make? And those last 2 are both part of our entrepreneurship course that we are building as well. All of these are going to have deep dives coming soon in our PD library. So make sure you're registering for our newsletter and all of our PD so you can get like really detailed into all these games. But just briefly, Stock Market Showdown, you play as a student who joins a club to learn about and beat the stock market. So it's similar to the stock market game, but much, much quicker. Stock Market Showdown is built on real life data. And so all of the scenarios that the student encounters in it are based in real life stock market trends. But they play as a student, they go to these competitions and they have to make trades and try to earn not the most money, but a goal amount of money. And that kind of helps students understand that they don't need to be doing day trading and risking it all to make the most, but really being wise with their investment strategy. The Finance Summer Camp is kind of a bridge between Lemonade Tycoon and Life Scenarios in that the student goes to a summer camp and it's a personal finance summer camp. They have to pay their cabin rent and do chores around camp to make sure that they're earning enough income, and they have to save for some kind of adventure at the end. So it's all the same concepts that are in Life Scenarios, that envelope budgeting and reading a receipt, those things that are really critical. But it just is for a little bit of a younger storyline. So it's couched in something that might appeal better to middle schoolers. Life Scenarios, of course, does too, but you can even use Finance Summer Camp as a precursor to Life Scenarios. And then we did a big collaboration and partnership with Intuit for education, and we are so excited to bring QuickBooks simulations into Banzai. So these simulations are based and built with the actual QuickBooks software. And so we've added it into our entrepreneurship course so that students who want to build a business or create a business can use the #1 software for accounting that is used in most small businesses across the US, and they can learn the basics of business accounting that way. And then another module within that entrepreneurship umbrella is how much can my business make, where students can think of an idea and really process the potential of how much they could make with that business idea. Okay. Other things that are exciting is, remember, workbooks. Everyone has access to workbooks. They are available in the teacher toolkit as PDFs for anyone to download. Sponsored schools get free printed copies, so don't forget to reorder and check if you have a sponsor. If you do not have a sponsor, we are always looking for teachers who sign up. If they don't have a sponsor, we start looking for a sponsor right away. In the meantime, you can download these workbooks as PDFs. And this year we get to announce a new workbook. I'm so, so excited. This is a College and Careers Life Skills workbook. So this workbook goes through things like networking, interview prep, reflection. What do you want to do after high school? Soft skills and other kinds of life skills. Are you ready to move out? Do you know how to actually do a load of laundry? Those kinds of things. And so very, very excited for these workbooks. And let me continue. So let's dive in real quick. I want to show off the toolkit. This is a feature in Banzai that when we hit the road and we're going to conferences, a lot of teachers tell us they don't know about. And so I want to make sure that we're shining a light on it, that you guys know that it's there, that you know what kind of resources are in the toolkit, including those workbook PDFs. So going back to my teacher interface, it's right up here, this little toolkit. And this is what is in the toolkit. So we have a PDF of all the pre and post test assessments. So you can see all of the questions and answers in one document. You don't have to go into the pre-test and look at what those questions are. We also have game kickoff slides. These are slide decks that show students how to log in, what the learning outcomes of the game are, how to get past the trickiest situations in those games, those kinds of things. We also have all of the workbooks, like I mentioned. You can download them and the answer keys. We have lists of vocab. These are the vocab words that are used in all of our games with their definitions. So you can use these in your lesson plans around the Banzai games. And then we have sample schedules and guides. We have the teacher's guide. Every workbook order includes a printed version of the teacher's guide, but you can also access the PDF here as well. And this just gives an overview of how to use Banzai, some of the most commonly asked questions, things of that nature. We also have some classroom discussion points, letter to parents. We're going to get a certificate in here very, very, very soon to send home with kids who have completed the games. And we have worksheets as well. The other thing under guides I want to show real quick are these sample schedules. This is how you might use Banzai content in like a crash course or 10 days. And we're coming soon, like really soon, we're writing right now longer sample schedules so that you can supplement Banzai for more than 10 days in the classroom. So that is just a very, very, very brief overview of the toolkit. It's where a lot of gems are hidden. So I encourage you to just come in here and play with these filters and search through and download. There's a lot of really good stuff in here, and we're hoping to add more soon. And honestly, we're adding more all the time. So moving on to the Banzai Library. And this is another resource that we find when we talk to teachers that they might not know about or aren't utilizing. We have over 210 calculators, articles, and what we call coaches, which are like virtual financial advisors that everyone has access to. So parents have access to these, you have access to them, your students have access to them, and they are in the Banzai library. The Banzai library, you can find a few different ways. As a teacher, when you're logged in, you can click library and hit visit. Then you're in the Banzai library, very easy. As a student, it is in right here, library, boop. And then within each of these categories, there are articles and calculators and those coaches that are specific to that subject. So this one is middle school personal finance. These are all written for a middle school reading level, and they are all about personal finance. So that's how you find those library sources. I wanted to show off one that a teacher is using, I think, in a really creative way. Let me get to it real quick. These are all based on content that we've written for adults. So that's something to keep in mind too. So to use them in your classroom, it's just a matter of being a little bit more creative. And one thing that we've seen teachers do is, sorry, let me get in here. I should have been more prepared about like where exactly I'm going to find this thing, because now I'm just like looking and looking and looking. We'll go to, okay. So this is one of our coaches. And one thing that I think is really fun and interesting and engaging for students to do is you can go through these coaches as a class and use made up numbers or common numbers. You can even look up national averages before you get there, and you can show students real life impacts of finances. So here, this one is getting out of debt. You start it up and it goes through how to calculate your debt, what interest rates do, how to get out of a lot of debt. And it will also give you a plan. So it'll create an avalanche or a snowball plan that you can use to get out of debt. Now, a student is hopefully not in a lot of debt, but you can use this in your class to show different strategies and the impact of debt. And so that's one example. We also have one on the cost of a wedding. And that one we've seen one teacher in particular use for students to plan their imaginary wedding in small groups, because it's something that's kind of exciting for her students that they like to think about. And then they get this huge budget at the end, this huge number where they're like, oh my goodness, my dream wedding is going to cost me $27,000. And they go through and talk about Is that worth it? What's a need versus a want? How can you lower that? Or how can you save for it? And that's one way that she uses these coaches that I think is really cool. So really quickly, I wanted to touch on some other resources that I'm sure you've heard about, you might be using, and how Banzai can also supplement those resources as well. Banzai, we've made and try to make really modular and accessible so that it's one of other resources that you're using in the classroom. And maybe one day will be the only resource with a bunch of different things in it. But for now, what we really think is there are so many different styles of learners, right? And some learners are going to love a video and really grasp what they need from that concept. And some might want a presentation or a Kahoot, and that's excellent. We do gamified education where those students practice the skills that they learn, and they can learn by failing or making mistakes or success. But that goes really well with a lot of other resources too. So, for example, the stock market game, I'm sure many, if not all of you, have heard of this. It's really long, right? And it's powerful. It teaches these students really, really important concepts, but it takes a long time to do. So, something that you might want to do is to use the stock market showdown as a quicker game that students can finish in 1, 2 class periods, get a broad overview of how the stock market works, get practice looking at graphs, what they look like, what trends look like, how to decipher those things, and then go into the stock market game where they can practice that in long form. Another tool that's really good is NGPF. And you can use a Banzai game to capitalize on the lessons that they learned in NGPF. So for example, you have there's a banking unit that is mostly slides and worksheets, those kinds of activities. Go through the banking unit in NGPF, and then at the end, your students can play the banking game where they actually get to run their own bank and learn those concepts or like practice using those concepts that they've learned, right? Junior achievement and other financial literacy fairs, if you play life scenarios before that, then they can practice in a gamified way. In same thing as the stock market game, 1 to 2 class periods, getting that practice in, and then going into the financial literacy fair. And then common sense media too. There's all sorts of resources in there, but they have a section on digital health and wellness. So have your students take the digital wellness assessment first. Take the assessment and see where they're at. And then they can go in and learn about digital wellness and the different impacts that it might have. Okay, really quickly, I just wanted to talk about how to connect with your sponsor. So Banzai is free for everyone. Everyone on this call can access all of our resources for nothing. It will always, always be free. It's not a trial period. We all know this. And it's because of so many partners and sponsors that we have across the US. These are small banks and credit unions that are motivated to help their communities learn personal finance and master those skills. And if you are a sponsored school, get back to you can find your sponsor by clicking on my sponsor in this corner. Your sponsor is who pays for your workbooks and when we ship them to your classroom, but you can also send them a thank you. You can request a lesson from your sponsor, which means they can just jump on a Zoom and give your class a lesson on financial literacy. Every partner has access themselves to presentations on credit, budgeting, saving for college specifically, and they also make their own. There's a whole wide range of topics. So they can come into your classroom and give those presentations. They can jump on a Zoom or something and give it virtually, or you could even go and tour their location or tour a branch and learn about like how a bank works and what they do there and those kinds of things. So that's how you interact with your sponsor. And that is my entire presentation. I felt like I was going so fast. Let me check the chat really quickly. Okay, sorry, I'm going to scroll up a little bit so I can make sure I get all of these. Can you assign the articles too? Not yet. We're building that right now, but you can still access the articles. So if you are in an assignment class like this, oops, oh boy, I'm really finding all the fun bugs today. Let me log out and log back in. Okay, try again. Like, as you can see, I'm using my Google SSO. If you are in the student view here, you will see all of those articles here. So this is where they will find those articles for now. We are making them assignable like as we speak, actually. So that should be ready within just a few weeks. Let me go back and answer some more questions. Do assignments have links that can be used in Google Classrooms? I don't think so yet. Other than the way that you would use Banzai in Google Classrooms currently, which is just to throw the URL in there, but we are integrating soon. So that's next on our list, is to start integrating with not only Google Classroom, but Canvas and Schoology to make sure that you guys can be using those LMSs to assign Banzai in the classroom. Da, 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 da. Can articles be read to students? Absolutely. So all of our articles and also everything in the school app, this is going to be new. You know what? I should have led with this. This is a big deal. As of the middle of August, everything in Banzai will be translated into over 20 languages. And part of that is to open the door for us to provide narration as well. And so Melissa, that's a great question. I'm going to get to that. So narration is coming soon in the games and in the articles so that we can start hearing those in the classroom. Do articles provide questions after they read them? That is coming, but in the meantime, if you go to your toolkit, go to library, and then library challenges, we have created some Google assignments to go with some of the articles. So you can use using credit article and have students fill out this afterwards to test their comprehension. We do have on our radar a way to implement these into every article on the actual article, so they're not having to navigate to two places. But yes, we do have these available in the meantime. So like I said, that is in the toolkit, library challenges. Okay. Anything else I can help with right away? I'm trying to read through all these questions. Can you select multiple courses like middle and high school personal finance? Yes, you can. So in the assignment builder, you can assign any activity from any of the course categories. So you can assign banking from middle school and consumer smarts from middle school, and then advanced budgeting from high school, and put that all in one assignment. In the classic classroom that we've had up to this point, you can also lock or unlock any of those course categories. You can unlock middle and high for all of your students. Sorry. Natalie is so on it in the chat. She's answering so much questions and I'm like trying to get to them too. Yes, this is being recorded and it'll be sent to everyone. And like I said, please, please, please email me. This is all that I do here is at Banzai, is trying to make sure that we are getting everyone on this call, the resources that they need and the games and software that they need, everything. So please don't hesitate to email me personally. It's Nicole@Banzai, and then also support@Banzai. Thank you so, so, so much. We are out of time, and I know that there are some questions, but please just send them to me. I'd love to answer them. And then, oh, don't forget to tune in. We are so excited. This is a Banzai teacher and Dr. Kiona Griffin King, and she is going to be doing a presentation on bringing real life fun and engagement to personal finance, how she does it in the classroom. We have seen the presentation already. It's incredible. So please, please, please don't miss it. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. That was such a whirlwind, but I so appreciate you for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you.